We was all young, we was all tiny, we was all kids, but we had guns, we had money, and we had drugs. And now we got cars, and now we got chains, and now we got girls. When I officially joined the gang, I was 11. Nobody can get more money in the ghettos better than a drug dealer, nobody. So I started my drug trade. If it ain't no $1 million lick, don't do it. That's where my mind frame was at. By the time he realized they getting robbed, we robbing them. What we end up at is enemy territory. Something in my head said, shoot. I'm hit. That started a war, per se.
Tiny Dope Boy, take one.
My name is Terry Roden. Some people call me Fat Crip, some people call me Tiny Dope Boy, some people call me Tiny Dopey. My story go from robbing ice cream to robbing dope dealers to selling cocaine and becoming one of the biggest gangsters in South Central, all before the age of 14.
Wow.
Did I hit it? Did I need to get up and do a little wiggle or something? Where I grew up, the area, it was rough, rugged. Most of my family was associated gangs, like from my mom growing up, my uncles, my aunties, my cousins. I was born into it. I never knew nothing different. My mom, she was like one of the biggest drug queens from our area. She was known, she had got caught up into the drug life, caught cases. A lot of my family members was telling me I was a miracle because they were saying she couldn't have kids.
My name is Terry Lynn Roten. I'm the mother of Terry Lee Roten. When I was growing up, everybody was having new things, fast money, cars, jewelry, and I liked it, so I got addicted and I started selling drugs. I was 18, and one night we went to a party, and they had a drive-by shooting, and I was one of the people that got shot. The bullet came from the back, and the doctor told me I would never have kids. As I was healing, my city started busting, so I went back to the doctor, and that's when I found out I was pregnant. They said he wouldn't make it, so I always named him my miracle child because he proved them wrong. I was still out in the streets when my mom raised him, and I would come home on the weekends. So when he got 3 or 4, I tried to get myself back together, going to school and work, because I was transitioning from the street life to back to normal life.
In the beginning years, it was just me and her. It was fun. I was just like the regular little kid. My first real memories of the 90s was like the riots. Everybody was riding, and I thought it was fun, like seeing everybody going into the stores, coming home like with different stuff. My mom got me my first Ninja Turtle tent from the riots. I remember like the National Guards coming into the inner cities with the big armored trucks and stuff like that. Army guys walking down the streets telling everybody, get in your house, you have curfew.
In South Central, if you're a single parent, trying to raise a male is very hard. So I tried to put them in things that would keep them occupied and have them around people that was positive. Put him in flag football, Pop wanted football. He liked it, so I kept investing in that.
From 7 to like about 10, I remember just like football was my life. Everybody in LA at that time was Raider fans, so like I grew up becoming a Raider fan. One day, like about 9 or 10, I was coming from football practice, and we had just moved from my hood where I'm from, which is the Crips side, to another gang side, the Bloods. I was walking to my mom's house, and the guys come out like, hey man, ain't you from the other side? I'm like, what? I knew who these guys was because everybody know each other. You know where you grew up at, you know where you claiming, you know, they know it. So I'm like, man, I'm going home. But one of the guys socked me in the back of the head. I tried to turn around with my helmet and swing it at them, and they just all jumped on me and stuff. My My nose was busted, my mouth was busted, and that kind of sparked some rage in me.
He came home to me, and first he hid it. He had his helmet on, and I didn't know how bad the damage was. And he took the helmet off, and I was like, what happened?
And so she terrified and stuff like that, and I was just enraged, like, they got me, like, man, they got me, like.
He was mad. He was upset, and I'm trying to keep him cool, but I'm also trying to do the right thing, not fall back into my old ways and take the street way. We was in enemy lines, and I was scared for him to come home. When he got jumped, it took both of us something through a toll, because his father wasn't in the picture, and it was just me and him, ride or die, me and him against the world.
My first robbery, like, wasn't really a robbery, it became a robbery. At the time, all the neighborhood kids come to this one park where we grew up at. And we used to hang there, like skateboard, ride bikes, play sports. Like, we were just honest kids at the time. And we just there, and these little ice cream cart rides by with the little bell, ding, 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 ding. I was hungry and I wanted the ice cream. I asked the guy how much the ice cream, he told me 75 cents. I gave him the 75 cents and got the ice cream. Then he like, no, you owe me 1/4. So I'm like, no, you told me 75 cents. But he was a Mexican, and he probably didn't understand. I probably didn't understand him. So I done had an extra quarter. And he tried to take the ice cream back, and he started chasing me. When he leave his ice cream cart, all my other friends, they going in there, and they take the ice creams. But I really paid that 75 cents for my ice cream. I didn't get no ice cream for free. An hour later, we at the park just chilling, talking about it, laughing about it. Police come with him in the back seat, and he pointed us out. They end up taking me and 3 other guys to the police station.
I get a call saying that he's been arrested for robbery of an ice cream vendor. So now my nerves is jumping.
I know I'm not going to jail or nothing because I felt I didn't do nothing. It didn't become reality until I went in front of the judge. They charged me with robbery. And my heart just dropped, like, I felt like my life was over. The judge said, come back in 30 days. So I went to juvenile detention.
I felt bad because he was very smart. So I was trying to do my best to keep him on track with the schooling and stuff, trying to get him into college. It's gonna look bad.
I heard her, like, when they were shutting the door, I knew she was crying and stuff. So I just felt bad, like, man, like, I just wanted to go home. I was there for a robbery, then plus they documented me as an active gang member, because when the staff asked me, like, you in the gang? I said, yeah, I'm from a gang. Like, I'm not gonna act scared, even though I was scared. But at the time, I wasn't no gang member. And that's where I messed up at. I got sent with the older kids. I was like 10, 11. These guys was like 13, 14, 15, 16. Some dudes was in there for shooting at other people. Some dudes was in there for robbing. I was scared. You hear all the kids like banging on the windows. Fresh meat, fresh meat, fresh meat. Like, you got new fish on the line and stuff like that. My first few days was hectic. I was really terrified, even though I wasn't showing it or I wasn't telling nobody. I was praying like, man, Judge, just let me go home. Like, I wanted to go home to my mama. But I didn't want the other kids and juveniles to see me scared, so I put this hardcore shield over and tried to make it seem like I wasn't scared. So like my first couple of days, I ended up getting in a fight. Growing up, my cousins and them used to always roughhouse me and them telling me, fight, man, fight, you better swing first. Like, and that's all that was in my head. So after I had the initial exchange of words with the guy, I swung first. I remember us tussling and staff telling us, stop, you're gonna get maced. They give you 3 warnings. I didn't hear the 3 warnings. It broke us up because I couldn't breathe. My throat started burning, my eyes burning. And at the time I was so young and dumb, I kept rubbing my eyes. I'm rubbing my eyes. But the more you rub your eyes, the more it's gonna burn because you're putting it inside your eyes. So that was my initiation of juvenile halls right there.
Take one more.
My name is K-Boy. I'm Terry's childhood friend. We actually from the same neighborhood, same gang rather. We've seen each other in the neighborhood a lot, but we have different crews. But where we really interact is we was in juvenile hall together. He was there first. From the looks of it, it looked like he was trying to make his reign as a juvenile in the juvenile system.
I started to meet like different juveniles, and one of my cellies, he was like 16, 17, so he started taking me under his wing because he had a name for himself in there, telling everybody in there, like, if y'all mess with him, y'all gotta talk to me, like, this my little brother. I just started learning from him, like, the juvenile rules, what to do, what not to do. He was teaching me robbery techniques and stuff like, if you rob somebody that's doing something illegal, you could get away with it because they're not gonna call the police. I call it the school of hard knocks. Like, you would think like kids would go and redeem themselves. Some kids up in there learning how to be better criminals. In the community, when I got out of juvenile halls, that changed my reputation because growing up before then, I was little Terry that used to play football. Wow, now it's changing. Is Terry a football player or is he getting caught up in the streets? I was like 11, and to the kids, like my age and stuff like that, it was like, wow, like, man, like, you get stripes, you become on a higher ranking.
It's so crazy how we champion the bullshit. Like, going to jail, people really glorify that. And it's so sad, but at that time, you can't tell us that. You can't tell anybody that.
Probation was like, I had to go to school because I was still a minor. I had to go like check in monthly to my probation officer. I pretty much started breaking my probation from the time I got out. Like, I was ditching school and football. I wanted to be out in the streets. I felt like that's where I wanted to be. In the community where I'm from, you had Crips, you had Bloods, you had Hoovers, you had Essays, you had Cholos. The Crips and Bloods have been dominating the Southern California or South Central for decades now. You'll see on the news shootings and stuff like that, but I never really saw that part. I saw like the parts of the partying and the fun stuff and like the cars hopping and the booze, the drinks, the girls. When I officially joined the gang, I was 11.
He wanted to be the gangster. He wanted to be the youngest gangster. He wanted to live one of these gangster movies. He wanted to be the Scarface.
He said it wasn't no money at first. I'm like, man, I'm about to shoot him. I clicked the gun back. I'm about to shoot him. Everybody move. No, no. The gang I joined is called the Fortray Gangsta Crips. The name Fortray come from the street being 43rd Street. So Fo, and as I say, Trey. And the Fortrays is one of the original Crip gangs.
I was 12 or 13 years old when I joined the gang. The cliche thing is you're a product of your environment, but all of my friends are right there in the neighborhood, and they're all doing the same thing. So you'll want to be a part of it too if you grew up in that environment.
When I joined the gang, my uncle, his name is Dopey, and so I was Tiny Dopey. And as growing up, I was a chubby kid. And so back in the days, they used to always have this commercial for Pillsbury Doughboy. Yoo-hoo! Me being chubby and stuff like that, they used to call me, like my family used to call me Doughboy. And a lot of people start getting it confused, like Tiny Doughboy, Tiny Dopey. With me being fat, I didn't have no problem with it because that was the name just like inherited.
He wanted to ring bells, try to get that notoriety at a young age, and he started real young. So the impression was, yeah, he's gonna be something. He's gonna move up in the rankings when we get older.
In in my entry level of gang banging, I used to just write on the walls like my name, the name of the gang. Also, we learned how to take a screwdriver and peel the column and steal cars just to drive around, to get to the parties and stuff. As I started getting into the street life, I started a crew called Tiny Loc Bastards.
He made a crew with inside the gang. I wasn't a part of the TLBs, but they was the young dudes that was wilding out. They was doing everything their way.
Well, you could say Tiny Lil Bastards, but it's really Tiny Loc Bastards. Tiny, which we was all young, we was all tinies, we was all kids. And Loc is another coin word or sub word for Crip. And the bastard was because most of us came from single parent households. All we had was our mother. My mom got to the point when she did find out I was in the streets gangbanging.
The police started coming by my house, asking me where my son is at. And I tell him I don't know. Because he was staying away from me, he was hiding from me. Because I'm looking for him, and he know I'm looking for him. He was lying, telling me he was going to my mom's. I call my mom, he not there. And of course, I've been there, done that in the streets. Family member come looking, I'm not here. Oh, you duck, you hide. I done that. So I put two and two together. Fast life. When I seen the signs, I knew what time it was.
She gave me an ultimatum. If you want to gangbang, get out of my house. I'm getting tired of the police come knocking on my door. I'm getting tired of all this stuff that you want to do and you don't care. I'm not selling for no gangbanger. What you want to do? Against my better judgment, I went against my mom.
When you've been in that lifestyle and your child have seen you in that lifestyle, you're gonna clash because he gonna say, how you tell me not to do it and you did it? I want him to do right and he out there. That's when I knew I lost my son to the streets.
A lot of us was runaways. So what we started doing is going to these vacant houses and we was like squatters. We'd take the boards down, we'd change the locks, and we'd just stay in them. And then we started to realize, like, we out here in the streets, we need money. So I remember everything from when I was in juvenile halls. If you rob somebody that's doing something illegal, it's not illegal if you rob him because he can't tell. That's considered snitching. You don't supposed to do that. That's against codes of the street life. One day, we at the gas station, and this drug dealer come banging his music, and we used to idolize him because he used to look like Mr. T pulling up with all the chains.
When you see the local drug dealers and gangbangers making all the money and having all the cars and all the women, we didn't want to be like Mike. We wanted to be like the dope man.
He put out a wad of cash to pay for the gas pump. So my boy asked him, like, hey man, let us get like $10 right quick. He tell my boy, like, nah man, I'm getting tired of y'all always begging. And the light popped in from my head, ding, ding, ding. I knew I was gonna rob him. We sat diagonally across the streets from where the guy was selling his drugs at. So I watched him when he brought the drugs to the house, when he left, when he was picking up his money and bringing more drugs. That was the weekend. People got paid in the inner cities on Fridays, and most people like to party. So the biggest drug trade and the money was gonna be made in the wee hours of Saturday morning. The robbery took place a week later, and we was young. The youngest was 12, the oldest was 15. I was 13. So we ended up getting a couple guns. We didn't wear no mask, we didn't wear nothing. I wanted the drug dealer to see who robbed him. I knew that was gonna give me a bigger reputation. It was branding. We was branding the TLBs. We knock on the door, knock, 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 knock. The dude, he answered, he like, who it is? It's me, man, let me in. Police down the street, let me tell you something. Soon as he opened the door, we come with the gun. Get down, don't move, don't move. It's only one person in there. We lay him down. He like, Lil Terry, why you doing this, man? And then I remember my cellie telling me, all you gotta do is just have a little force. Don't kill nobody, don't hurt nobody, just scare him enough. He said it wasn't no money at first. I'm like, man, I'm about to shoot him. I'm about to shoot him, man, watch out. Your boss didn't come, you got the money, I watch you. I work for him too. I'm lying though. I clicked the gun back, I'm about to shoot him, everybody move. No, okay, don't shoot. Under the rug, they had the safe and all the drugs in the floor. We didn't know it was this much stuff in there because we were just going in there to put stuff in our pockets and to run out. But drug money, a lot of them be small bills. 100 ones look like a 10,000 stack. First thing I said, man, I said, we rich. I said, we rich. But it was so much stuff. We had to go to his room, empty the pillowcases, put the drugs, put the money up in there in the pillowcases. So we was running like the Grinch who stole Christmas down the street. We came out that house with like 5 kilos of pure cocaine and over 100,000 worth of cash.
The drug dealer thing caught everybody by surprise. Like, wow. But when you want the notoriety, you're gonna do whatever it takes. The only thing you gotta worry about is him coming back.
Then I hear little stories. Different people calling me, telling me, oh, I seen Terry. They were saying he was the ringleader.
We was thinking we war ready. Our whole thing is getting our name together. So I just know like $100,000 loss, $5 kilo loss, somebody supposed to die in my eyes. But we wasn't thinking about that at that age. I see them and they look, and I look back then, it was eye contact. Something in my head said, shoot. The first thing we did was splitting up the cash. I'm like, wow, I ain't never seen this much money in my life. The money filled my whole floor. We were stepping over it. Like, we was like, man, we about to go get us some bling. If you think about us starting off stealing ice creams because we was hungry, now we was gonna eat at Benihana's. It flooded through the community that the TLBs robbed this drug dealer. And in the ghettos, if you pass or you get away with a lot of money on something that everybody know who you is, you automatically become popular. The TLBs, we became on a whole nother level from that because after the heist, we went from 10 members to 50 within less than 3 months. And then all the girls wanted to hang with us. Like here I am 13 and used to crush over girls, now girls crushing over you.
So at that time of doing all those crazy things, you're still a child. You still probably haven't even had a kiss from a girl.
Now, it'll be 10 females in there walking around bikinis and stuff like that, and we was living our life.
Getting the notoriety is not always the good thing. Being popular is not always the good thing. It's like a gift and a curse.
What I started to realize, the house we hit was his safe house. That's where he stashed his supply for all his other houses that he had. So I used to get like a lot of messages and calls from my older homies who probably did business with him or he probably was supplying. Man, y'all take him back that stuff. Why y'all doing that? Y'all gonna start something y'all can't handle. To us, we didn't care. We didn't care. We had guns, we had money, and we had drugs. And now we got cars, and now we got chains, and now we got girls. But I knew nobody can't get more money in the ghettos better than a drug dealer. Nobody. I just had to figure out how I'm gonna start my drug trade. In the meantime, my whole thing was getting more drugs. So I gave $2,000 to one of my boys and bought his kilo. And then I gave $2,000 to one of my other boys, bought his kilo. Me personally, I had like 15,000 out the heist. Everybody else had about 20, but I had the most money because I had the drugs. So this night, we walking by USC, because you know USC sit in the heart of South Central. And I seen like one Asian dude just laid out right there. He was wasted, like super wasted. One of my younger TLBs like, man, we about to rob him. Look like, who they about to rob? Because now we past this stage. Like we past the stage of just robbing any and everything. We don't want nothing to play out like the ice cream cart. If it ain't no $1 million lick, don't do it. That's where my mind frame was at. So I just helped him up and stuff. Let's just take him to the dorm. A week later, like I said, I was already thinking about a new drug trade. A week later, I bump into the Asian dude and we chopping up. He like, thank you, man, whatever you need, whatever you need. So I'm actually like, man, you were so loaded, that wasn't just drink. What do you be off of? He like, bro, forget it. You know, he told me Coke. Ding! I got a lot of Coke that I've been trying to sell from the heist. Look, man, I got Coke and it coming from the ghetto, from the inner city. And I'm lying, I'm putting it on extra. I'm telling him, I got the ghetto on lock. I'm the man in the ghetto. Everybody come to me. So he tell me, how old are you? I told him I was 17, but at the time I was only 13. He started calling me babyface. I gave him an ounce. And he telling me like, man, I could sell this real fast. Everybody in the dorms come to me because they know I'm the party animal. I was selling an ounce for like $8.50, but at the USC area, everything go up in price. So I told him, give me $1,000. He said, that's nothing. He went to the bank the next morning. He came back, he wanted 5 ounces. That started my drug trade. Mind you, the dudes I was messing with, the students, it was way different from like the inner cities. In the ghettos, you know who doing drugs. Everybody flamboyant with it, they don't care. At USC, it's only to know, like, they give you a look like, point their head or something like. But I'd have to solicit myself like, I got this, I got that, because I had the party animal. It's 36 ounces in a kilo. I made at least almost 1,000 each one when I started doing with the USC students. So that was 36,000. I ran out my 2 kilos, so I started thinking of everybody who had drugs. Either I could rob them or how can I get a line of trade with them. My homie that had some, he didn't have the connect that I had, so his was going slower than me. I started buying the ounces from him, like, I'm gonna give you 500 and I'm gonna go sell them for 1,000. That's when I start understanding the trade of drugs. Now I need to get it for the cheapest and try to sell it for the highest. A few months later, I done had to go look for trades because now people come to me. Now people know I can move it. With my operation at USC, I was making probably 1,000 a day sometimes. And I had to do nothing but just make a call. And the USC students, they go swipe them cards and come right back. It wasn't no hassle. The only problems we had like with drug trades was in the inner cities, in the ghettos. You have to worry about the other drug dealers. You have to worry about the police come kicking in the doors for the spot. Now it's to the point where we're getting a name for ourselves. We gotta worry about not only that, we gotta worry about our enemies, and we gotta worry about who plotting on us. Cause it's a dog-eat-dog world. I was coming back from a party one time. Some girls hit my boy like, what's up? Y'all thought y'all was coming to pick us up. Now the girls stay in another neighborhood. What we end up at is enemy territory, the Mexican gang territory. I got my gun on my lap while we driving because you never know when something gonna happen. Your gun is your wardrobe. Rather get caught with one than without one. Rather get judged by 12 than carried by 6. But I'm not in the mind frame of a gangbanger. I'm in the mind frame of, I'm just this new fat, flashy young dude with all the money and all the girls. We the TLB, ain't nothing happening to us. And when we get over there, I see some of the Spanish dudes, I kind of like, man, I know them, but I'm telling my boy, I think them like some of the boys we don't get along with. And he like, nah, man, you tripping. Like, you always on paranoid type stuff. But I see them and they look, and I look back them, it was eye contact. Something in my head said, shoot, shoot, shoot. But then something in my head was like, you out here better than that now. So the girls didn't come out, so we drove around the block. When we come back, I'm like, damn, them dudes ain't there, so we cool. I'm like, all right, girls say they on their way down. As soon as they said they on their way down here, boom, 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 boom. I go on a run. I know I didn't kill nobody, but I'm not about to turn myself in. It's like July 5th, so like, I hear boom, 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 boom. I'm like, man, there must be some fireworks or something. And then I hear another boom, boom, boom. The glass splatter out the car, and then that's when I feel the bullet hit my neck. I'm hit. They shooting. My boy, he like, you not hit. I said, I'm hit. I'm hit. So I'm trying to grab my gun, but I'm grabbing my neck. Other bullets going in my body. By this time, the car is Swiss cheese. So I press the gas for him to go. I make it back around the corner towards one of my auntie's house. I'm shot, auntie, I'm shot. And I just fall out right there. The next thing I remember is the detectives at my hospital bed, and they trying to talk to me. Telling the doctors, like, that's Fat Terry, like, we know who he is. The doctor, I think she felt more sorry for me than anything. Like, she kept just saying, like, he's just a baby. He's only 14.
I get a call, tell me that Terry got shot. They didn't tell me how bad it was. They just told me Terry got shot. So my sister drove me to the hospital, and I see him in the emergency room. And that's when I find out he gets shot more than once. And one of the bullets is serious.
I got shot 6 times. The one in the neck, my back leg right here. And my back is like a double wound, like 2 right there, like centimeters from my spine.
It was a long surgery, 8 to 10 hours. When they told me he all right and he out of surgery, I'm thinking they're gonna let my child come home. They said, no, he's on the 9th floor. What's 9th floor? That's the jail ward of the hospital. And I'm acting out because they won't let me see my child. The police consider him as a gang member. I feel bad because I feel I messed up, and I feel I gave him that mentality.
I was just hoping that he didn't die when I heard that he got shot. That's your first thing is the homie okay? Is he dead? And then your second is what we gonna go do about it.
I never really knew the reason why I got shot. It could have been the drug dealer and his crew. He was a part of the Mexican Mafia. But getting shot changed my reality on gangbanging. That was the downfall of the TLB. That started a war, per se.
By him being the young leader of his clique, of course, everybody's in an uproar. You know, it's a retaliation phase. You have to retaliate.
Gunshots ring out. You can see somebody laying dead in front of your house.
People from my neighborhood done got shot. People from other neighborhoods been getting shot. And I'm supposed to stay in the hospital a whole month. But against doctors' will, I snuck out the hospital because I wanted to get to the streets. Like, that was the life. Like, I wasn't worrying about, oh, my health. I was a kid. I didn't set up or have something to do with murders in South Central. But it was a killing spree, and I was the reason why it happened.
When you're too popular, you get blamed for things that you really haven't even done. So when the police know you, they're quick to blame you because they figure, like, you didn't do it per se, you had something to do with it. They go off your past.
If the Lakers win a game and Kobe is the star player, they're gonna say Kobe won the game. So because we got the biggest name at that time in that generation, everything got blamed on the TLBs. LAPD and law enforcement, they went to the trap spot to our HUD house and found some of the drugs, took some of my homeboys to jail from the clique, and they looking for me, like, it's official, because now the homies is calling from jail saying, man, they questioning us about you, they looking for you, they talking about some murders, they saying your name in the mix. I'm like, huh?
Next we know, we get a murder charge.
I go on a run. I know I didn't kill nobody, but I'm not about to turn myself in. From them first couple of stunts from juvenile halls and all, I didn't want to go back to jail. I was paying people to stay at this house, or if a person see me, I'm giving them because I'm thinking in my head they're gonna turn me in. So I had to think of ways to also make money while I'm spending money. I started back to what I knew best. I knew how to rob, but I need to rob something that's kind of big that's gonna make me feel like I felt when I robbed the dope man. Get down, I said don't move. The ladies in there shaking, the guy up in there like, he's stunned. By the time he realized they getting robbed, we robbing them. I was 14. The police is looking for me in LA, going around with my picture for a murder. Now that I'm on a run, I don't have nothing to lose. So we decided to rob the big recycler place not too far from our community. I knew they bring about 3,000 to 5,000 every morning to pay people to bring in their recyclables. So what if I go rob the one that pay the people that pay the people to pay the people?
Everybody else is doing everything like robbing the liquor store or trying to be the best bank robber. That's how you know that a person is different and they are smart, because they're getting things that's That's uncommon.
I'm pumping myself up because I never really robbed like a commercial place where I know, okay, it's money in here, it's big. I don't know how many people are gonna be inside the office. All I know is money in there. I need that money. So we go over there the whole time. I gotta pump my boys up too because we all nervous. So I'm like, man, we about to get this money. We about to be rich. I'm telling you, we about to be super rich. Watching the trucks come through. So I'm saying, okay, the guard at this gate, he really lazy. So what we need to do is, we need to say we come to go into the office. That's how we got in the gate. We had our hoodies on and we had our masks on. We go in there, get down, nobody move. They seeing the fear in people's eyes. That might sound crazy, but it made me like, yes, this is easy. So I put the extra thrill in it. Get down. I said, don't move. The ladies in there shaking, the guy up in there like, he's stunned like, is we getting robbed? By the time he realized they getting robbed, we robbing them. We get behind the counter, we get all the stuff. We find the vault. At the time, I didn't even know what a vault was. The cash, they keeping everything in this vault. And we find some bricks of gold. I'm like, whoa. I felt it again. I'm rich. I've never in my life seen bricks of gold, like, period. I'm fascinated. I'm picking up. I'm supposed to be haired up, putting the stuff in my bag. I'm picking up. Oh, we got gold. Running out the place, two people, a husband and wife, seen us. They dug behind the car and they hurried up and called 911 and reported the license plate of the car and reported the color of the car and just said they just robbed, they got guns, 4 young guys. We trying to get all the way back to our safe house, and then the helicopter came up. I'm like, forget it, we already through the hood, we know we getting caught. So I told everybody, man, take the money y'all got out. When we go to certain blocks where certain homies out, we gonna throw it out the car and keep going. We going everywhere throwing out the money. Like Robin Hood and just passing out money. We passing by my auntie house. I see my phone ring, it's my auntie. Everybody calling. We on channel 4, we on channel 5. I was driving so fast, boom, then when I look, it's 20 cars of police behind us. On a high-speed chase. The police are blocking off, but I'm flying. I seen a lady getting off a bus. I see her fly by her, then my grandpa like, man, you almost hit that lady. It looked like your mama.
When I get off the bus and take one step into the sidewalk, they was greeting me with the grill. And I'm telling them, I'm figuring it out like I just almost got killed. Little did I know, they was chasing my son.
I tried to make a turn. Somebody hit my back of my thing and made me fishtail, and I hit like the mailbox. And then we just all hopped out and ran through the alley. And then I got caught at the end of the alley. The helicopter was right there, so it wasn't no getting away for us.
Turn the news on. I catch the end of the high-speed chase. I see them get the other boys out the car, but I never seen Lil Terry. Then I hear on the news they got the 4th suspect. That's my child.
The detective told him, like, that's a murder suspect. So he was high-fiving them, happy, like, yeah, that's Terry, you got him. We've been looking for you, man, where you been? That's when I got caught doing that robbery. The DA decided to drop the murders until we fought the robbery cases. With the robberies, we did that. I did that. So it was like no reason of playing with these people, taking it to trial. We know we did it. Me and my crime partners, we took what they call a package deal. They give us the minimum charge, so I got 13 years. After I pleaded guilty to the robberies, they sent me to the juvenile yard in prison. It's called YOP, Youth Offenders Program at the Hatchby State Prison in California. It's prison, you up there with the adults, but you just in a YOP program. And then what they do? They slammed a murder on me. Because now they got a conviction on my jacket. So now it's harder for me to beat the case. So I gotta go to trial, and they can say to the jury, this is Fat Terry. He's a convicted felon. He's been robbing, he's been killing, he's been stealing his whole life. He's a beast. This guy's responsible for 10 murders, but we only charged him with 3. I was charged with 3 murders. The prosecutor wanted capital punishment. 2 of the charges was dismissed because hospital records prove that I was in the hospital, and doctors had to come testify that I was in surgery. So that's why 2 of the murders got dropped. The last murder that the DA tried to pin on me, I had to get found not guilty by 12 jurors. I could prove that I was at a party and I had nothing to do with it. I had never killed nobody. That was the truth to the matter. So I got acquitted on the murders. After I beat my murders, they sent me back to finish my time for the robberies. I'm like 18 now. With me being grown, they sent me to the adult prison. I'm not going back to the juvenile side. And it was like one CO, he had knew me over there. He called me the N-word, like, get in your cell. When he did that, I told him I'd knock him out. Next day he came to work and he was just lollygagging, playing, talking stuff, and I knocked him out. So they shot me in the head with the block gun right here. I did 5 years in solitary confinement. It was just me in my cell. Me in a 6x9 cell. So I started writing and like learn how to write, and it started being like fun. Then I started writing books, and my books became my movies while I was in jail. Normally in the hole, it'd feel like 10 years. Now 1 month with me writing a book only feel like 2 weeks. I'm in a cell 24 hours a day, and by the time I looked up, 3 years done passed, and I got like 50 books I done wrote. I started to realize, like, this is my way out. Writing and reading opened up many doors for me that I never thought sitting in that prison cell. By the time I knew I was coming home, my last few months, I was like, man, I'm coming home, I gotta do something. I knew prison wasn't for me. When I came back home, everything changed. I was trying to do my book stuff. I was trying to figure out life on the streets, and I was trying to figure out how I could survive. The recidivism rate be high because we back in the same environment. I was trying to mix negative with positive, and it ain't gonna work. One day, my parole officer at the time came in to a location where I was at and found the gun. I couldn't say, well, oh, this was his. It's the street code. So they put the gun on me. I'm considered like one of the last of the dying breeds for the TLBs. 95% of my circle, like original TLBs, they're either in prison or they dead.
He knocked out his time, and he came back stronger than ever. And now it seems like he can't be stopped. Can't stop, won't stop.
I have been out of prison for 4 years now, and I decided like all the energy that I put into some negative things, I could put into positive things. The name of my publishing company is No Breaks Publishing. And the genre we publish is urban/hip-hop/street fiction. That's a new genre that's been blowing up in the United States.
I think Terry's been successful because of his ambition. He's a hard worker. For him to be in prison that long and come home and have all these businesses, yeah, he outworks a lot of people.
I have over 20 authors signed to my publishing company. Personally, I have 30 books published, and I have written over 100 books. I own a chain bookstore. We also have a mobile bookstore.
I'm proud of my son because from where we come from and where he started at, from writing the books to owning his own business, even trying to give back, I see this maturity in my son. That makes me happy. But the future is bright for him if he stay on the right track.
If you had to sum up your entire story in a few sentences, how would you sum it up?
My life has been wild, crazy, and a hell of a roller coaster. I be like, look, sometimes when I think about it, it's like just saying it to myself, like, damn, I did all that. Oh, shit.